see that too, but the big money is Canelo.
I know.
And why not do it? I mean, what a ballsy move. You go 47 to 54 and you go right up to 68. That's crazy.
Saying what this fight will be about is how Terrence Crawford fights at 68, not how much bigger Canelo is or how much smaller Terrence is, just how you carry that weight in a fight 2 weight classes above where you've ever fought. That's the big difference. It's all about how Terrence at 68 performs.
Boxing fans across the globe are buzzing with anticipation. The fantasy clash between Terrence "Bud" Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez is no longer just a dream. It's materializing into a legacy-defining bout. This isn't just another title fight. It's a seismic collision of 2 generational talents, each bringing unique skill sets, mental toughness, and legacy ambitions into the ring. One fighter, Canelo, has already climbed multiple weight classes and cemented his dominance with brute power, tactical pressure, and relentless body work. The other, Crawford, is arguably the most complete boxer of this era. Slick, versatile, calm under pressure, and devastating in both orthodox and southpaw stances. But when size meets skill, when experience meets momentum, who prevails? Let's break down what some of the sharpest minds in the fight game are saying. Here's how this matchup is being analyzed by experts, one quote at a time. Because this isn't just a fight. This is a narrative where size, skill, and legacy all collide.
See that too, but the big money is Canelo.
I know.
And why not do it? I mean, what a ballsy move. You go 47 to 54 and you go right up to 68. That's crazy.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back his amazement at Crawford's ambition, highlighting just how big a leap it is to go from 147 pounds all the way up to 168. That's a 21-pound jump, and while the move itself might seem insane, it also symbolizes Crawford's warrior mindset. Rogan points out that Crawford isn't even fully filled out at 154, let alone competing with naturally bigger men like Canelo at super middleweight. But that's the ballsy part. Crawford's confidence is staggering. He's risking it all, taking on a man who's built his legacy knocking out legitimate 168-pounders and 175-pounders. From a physiological standpoint, it's not just about gaining weight, it's about maintaining speed, reflexes, stamina, and power while doing so. That's a monumental task. Meanwhile, Canelo's familiarity at this weight class is an edge many believe will be too much for Crawford to overcome. However, in boxing, courage can be the great equalizer. By taking this leap, Crawford isn't just chasing belts, he's chasing greatness. But is greatness enough when you're fighting a man who's been king in this castle for years?
Listen, it's going to be great. It's going to be a great fight. You're dealing with 2 all-time greats.
Joe Rogan doubles down on the magnitude of this clash by calling both men all-time greats. That phrase is often overused in combat sports, but not here. Canelo Alvarez has arguably the most stacked resume in modern boxing, having faced names like Golovkin, Kovalev, Plant, and Bivol. On the other hand, Crawford has unified the 140-pound division, conquered 147, and remained undefeated while switching stances mid-fight and making top-level opponents look ordinary. When 2 all-time greats collide, it's more than just skills. It's mentality, durability, adaptability, and legacy. This fight will test each man's ability to dig deep. Canelo's granite chin and power against Crawford's IQ and surgical precision. It's like watching a world-class sniper take on a tank. Rogan's words reflect the respect these 2 warriors command, not just from fans, but from the combat sports community as a whole. There's no villain, no underdog, just 2 greats writing the final chapters of their legacies. It's rare to have a fight where the stakes are this high and the respect is this mutual.
Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive. And then you have Canelo, who probably isn't the same guy as he was just like a few years ago.
Right.
But still one of the greatest of all time, still has brutal knockout power.
In another reflection, Joe Rogan speaks on the fighter's evolution. He acknowledges that Canelo might not be the same destructive force he was a few years ago, but still maintains his spot as one of the greatest. That nuance matters. Canelo has slowed down slightly, perhaps due to years of grueling wars and a physically taxing style. Still, he holds terrifying knockout power and a high ring IQ. Crawford, on the other hand, is still in his prime, sharp, fluid, and ever adaptable. Joe compares Crawford to legends like Marvin Hagler in terms of being a master switch hitter, something extremely rare and effective in high-level boxing. This sets the tone for a dynamic contrast. Canelo will likely walk Crawford down, apply body pressure, and look to trap him on the ropes. Crawford, meanwhile, will circle, bait, counter, and frustrate the bigger man. The intrigue lies in their tactical differences. Will power shut down skill, or will skill diffuse power? Both are thinking fighters, but they think in completely different styles. This section underscores how this isn't just about who's better. It's about who has evolved enough to outwit and outlast the other.
He's probably not that guy anymore,
Yeah.
but he's still He's still young enough that he's still like pretty close to his prime and one of the best of all time.
Joe Rogan tempers talk of Canelo's decline by reminding us that even if he's not at his absolute peak, he's still incredibly dangerous. Canelo is still young by boxing standards and continues to fight the best. That's key. He's not ducking challenges. He's chasing legacy, just like Crawford. Rogan implies that while Canelo may have lost a bit of his snap, his experience, composure, and physical strength still place him near the top of the sport. You don't knock out Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders unless you're elite. And Canelo's discipline in the ring, his foot positioning, head movement, and body punching remain elite tools that could neutralize Crawford's movement. This isn't a washed-up fighter. It's a seasoned predator who has learned to adapt. If he chooses to fight a slower-paced fight, it might favor Crawford. But if he revs up his engine and pressures early, he might wear Bud down before the championship rounds. Rogan's insight sets the stage. Canelo is no longer invincible, but he's still absolutely lethal. The tension hit boiling point even before the first bell. During the face-off, Canelo shoved Crawford, sending shockwaves through the boxing world. While some saw it as a show of strength, others saw something deeper, perhaps a crack in Canelo's composure. This wasn't just a publicity stunt. Canelo admitted afterward that he lost respect for Crawford, which suggests this fight has become personal, and personal fights often bring out something different in fighters. Crawford remained calm, as always, which is one of his deadliest traits. The mind games may have started, but make no mistake, Crawford thrives on emotionless execution. For Canelo, that push may have been more about asserting dominance and making a statement, but it also adds layers to the narrative. Is Canelo trying to intimidate a man who's never been phased inside the ropes? Or is this a sign of pressure creeping into his psyche? The crowd now expects fireworks, and both fighters know there's more on the line than belts. It's pride, legacy, and history. If that shove ignited the fire in Crawford, it may have been the most significant move Canelo could regret.
Canelo has fought at this weight before. I said Crawford for a while. I'm starting to lean back Canelo, though.
Oh, man.
I just think it's a matter of like Canelo fighting in a different way than he's fought a lot of the other big 68-pounders. Like, you can't be super selective in front of Crawford because his output's just going to be a little better. But he's big. He's way bigger than you think.
Bigger than Canelo? No.
Yeah, they put Canelo in lifts. Don't get it mistaken. But look at the shoulders.
Max Holloway shifts the spotlight to a more analytical angle. While he once leaned toward Crawford, he now finds himself favoring Canelo again. His reasoning is layered. Canelo has already operated at this weight and understands how to pace himself against bigger guys. But he warns against fighting Crawford the way Canelo fought other big 168-pounders. Crawford isn't just another big guy. He's faster, slicker, and brings higher output. Holloway makes a key observation. Canelo can't afford to be too selective. If he tries to fight slow and methodical, Crawford could outvolume him and win rounds with activity. Also, Holloway mentions Canelo's physicality. His size is deceptive. He's built for this division, and every pound will matter when they clinch or trade in the pocket. Max is essentially saying Canelo can win, but only if he fights the perfect fight, because Crawford will not leave room for mistakes.
Saying what this fight will be about is how Terrence Crawford fights at 68, not how much bigger Canelo is or how much smaller Terrence is. It's just how you carry that weight in a fight 2 weight classes above where you've ever fought. That's the big difference. It's all about how Terrence at 68 performed.
Max Holloway may have highlighted size and strength, but he didn't ignore Crawford's most dangerous asset, his boxing IQ. According to Holloway, Crawford doesn't just fight opponents, he deciphers them. Round by round, he downloads their tendencies, studies their footwork, and sets traps like a chess grandmaster. That's what separates Crawford from most fighters. He may be the smaller man, but mentally, he's towering. Against a powerhouse like Canelo, Crawford won't try to outslug, he'll try to outsmart. Holloway's respect for Crawford's ability to read fights and pivot strategies mid-battle shows why Bud isn't just a live underdog. He's a serious threat to rewrite the story. Crawford's brain may very well be his strongest muscle in this war.
I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm happy that, you know, I'm here, and we're gonna put on a great show.
As the fight inches closer, Terrence Crawford exudes a quiet, composed confidence that feels more dangerous than loud declarations. When asked about the pressure or challenge, his simple reply was filled with reassurance. He feels good, is looking forward to it, and promises a great show. This isn't the bravado of a fighter trying to hype up a mismatch. This is the aura of a man who knows his worth and his preparation. Crawford has always carried himself as a professional, letting his performances speak louder than any presser could. That calm demeanor isn't just psychological, it's a tactical edge. Fighters who remain composed tend to read situations better in the ring. They don't get flustered by pressure, whether from the opponent or the moment. In Crawford's case, it's a reflection of his elite ring IQ. He's not merely stepping into this fight as an underdog going up in weight, he's entering it as a man who fully understands the challenge and still feels no fear. When Crawford says he's ready to put on a show, he means business. And if history has shown us anything, it's that when Terrence says he's ready, we better believe.
I can't put it like one opponent, but, you know, there's things that Canelo do that maybe a couple of fighters does, things like that.
In another rare moment of praise, Crawford acknowledged that there are specific things Canelo does in the ring that remind him of only a handful of other fighters. That's significant. Crawford doesn't throw compliments lightly. What this tells us is that Canelo isn't a puzzle that can be solved by simply studying tape. He's a fighter with unique tools. From subtle feints to body shot placement, Canelo brings an arsenal that few can replicate. But here's the twist. Crawford isn't intimidated by that uniqueness. Instead, he's intrigued by it. He respects Canelo's game enough to analyze it, deconstruct it, and ultimately prepare to counter it. This is high-level chess, and Crawford has always been more of a grandmaster than a brute. By identifying the complexity of Canelo's style, Crawford signals that he's not underestimating the Mexican star. This fight isn't going to be about who's more popular or who has a flashier knockout reel. It's about who can adjust, adapt, and dissect the opponent's strengths while exposing their weaknesses. Crawford understands that, and he's making it clear that while Canelo is special, so is he.
I'm looking forward to it having its own, history. The Canelo and Crawford history, and it's going to be solidified as one of the greatest moments of my career.
For Crawford, this fight represents more than just a payday or even a title. It's a chance to etch his name into boxing history. He speaks of this clash with reverence, calling it a moment that will be solidified as one of the greatest of his career. This isn't just promotional hype, it's personal ambition. Crawford is chasing something intangible here, legacy. He's not content with simply being great in his division. He wants to walk among the giants of the sport who dared to take risky leaps and came out victorious. The Canelo-Crawford showdown is the type of bout fans talk about for decades. If Crawford wins, it won't just be an upset. It'll be a seismic shift in the narrative of who the best pound-for-pound fighter truly is. And for Crawford, that's everything. Fighters talk about legacy all the time, but very few actually chase it the way Crawford does, by moving up multiple weight classes, facing a naturally bigger legend, and still talking about it with hunger in their voice. This is a man chasing greatness, not just a belt.
Listen, however they rate me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we gotta fight. I'm gonna win the fight. It's simple as that.
Crawford doesn't mince words when it comes to what he expects from the fight. He acknowledges all the noise, all the rankings, all the predictions, but shrugs them off with one bold declaration: we got to fight, and I'm going to win. That's not arrogance. That's belief born from decades of hard work, discipline, and countless hours in the gym. It's not about underestimating Canelo. It's about believing in his own ability to rise to any challenge. Crawford has always had this mental edge, a refusal to be mentally defeated even before the first bell rings. His career is full of moments where he's been doubted, overlooked, or told he couldn't do something. Yet here he is, standing face to face with a generational talent in Canelo and still believing he's going to walk away victorious. That kind of mindset is dangerous. It's what separates good fighters from legendary ones. When Crawford says he's going to win, you feel like he's already envisioned every second of the fight, and he likes what he sees.
I think he is. I just think, he just wasn't up for the skull fight. I think, different fighters bring different, energies out of other fighters.
In one of his more subtle insights, Crawford spoke about how different opponents bring different energies out of fighters. He used Canelo's previous lackluster performance against John Ryder as an example, suggesting that Canelo might not have been motivated for that fight, but that won't be the case this time. Crawford isn't banking on Canelo being sluggish. He's preparing for the best version of Canelo possible because he knows this isn't just another payday for either of them. It's a defining moment. Crawford's observation also hints at something deeper. He understands the psychology of elite fighters. The way he sees it, energy, motivation, and purpose can drastically alter how a fighter performs. Canelo may not have brought his A game before, but Crawford expects him to bring it now, and he's still not fazed. That says a lot about how seriously he's taking this fight. He respects the threat, but doesn't fear it. In fact, he may be counting on Canelo bringing out the best in him too, because when two legends collide, the world watches, and the energy is always different. As the dust settles on all the expert commentary, one thing becomes absolutely clear: Canelo versus Crawford isn't just another boxing match. It's the type of showdown that etches itself into the history books. On one side, we have Canelo Alvarez, powerful, experienced, and battle-hardened, coming in with a size advantage, a legacy to protect, and a nation behind him. On the other, we have Terrence "Bud" Crawford, faster, sharper, and perhaps even hungrier to cement his greatness by toppling a giant. In the end, it's a battle of skill set versus power, legacy versus ambition, and mass versus mastery. One man's going to make history. The only question left is, who's it going to be? If you're just as fired up about this clash of titans as we are, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because here at Box Eye Hub, we'll keep you covered with every punch, prediction, and post-fight breakdown. Drop your predictions in the comments. Canelo or Crawford? Who writes their legacy in gold? Let the debate begin.